They say absence makes the heart grow fonder, but the truth is, most men don't know how to create the kind of absence that makes a woman ache for them. Right now, you might be unknowingly giving too much, showing up too often, and making yourself so available that she never has the chance to wonder about you. And let me tell you, when a woman never wonders, she never misses you. Missing isn't born from presence. It's born from a carefully designed distance that awakens her mind, her heart, and her imagination. The psychology of missing someone is powerful. When she doesn't have access to you, her brain fills in the gaps. She starts replaying old memories. She remembers how your voice made her feel, and she even begins to fantasize about the moments she wants with you next. But here's where most men fail. They think making her miss them means disappearing or playing games. That's not it. Making a woman miss you is not about manipulation. It's about creating space for her emotions to breathe, so the natural bond she feels with you grows stronger in your absence. You see, women are emotional creatures, and their emotions need contrast. If she sees you every day, if you text her every hour, if she knows she can have you at any second, her emotions flatline. But when you pull back strategically, when you balance closeness with distance, you create a surge of emotional intensity inside her. That's when she finds herself checking her phone, scrolling through your photos, and wondering why you're not reaching out. That's when she starts missing you. The danger is most men fear this space. They believe if they don't constantly show up, she'll forget them. But the opposite is true. When you trust the silence, when you hold your ground, and when you let her sit with the weight of your absence, you give her the gift of craving you. And craving is what makes her miss you so deeply it becomes impossible to ignore. Now listen closely, because this is the secret most men never hear. A woman only starts to miss you when she feels a contrast between what she has and what she no longer has. Think about it. If you're always available, there is no difference between presence and absence. She doesn't feel the void because you never allow one to exist. Missing is born in that void, in the emotional space where her mind begins to wander, asking, why isn't he here? What is he doing? Who is he with? And here's where psychology works in your favor. The human brain hates unanswered questions. When you create subtle distance, her mind starts answering those questions on its own. She recalls your confidence, your energy, the moments that made her laugh, the way you carried yourself in public, or the way you looked into her eyes. She becomes the one feeding her own desire for you, because the absence forces her to relive your presence. But let's get brutally honest here. Most men sabotage this without realizing it. They chase, they cling, they double text, they send long emotional messages thinking that vulnerability will pull her closer. What it actually does is suffocate her sense of mystery. And when the mystery dies, so does the yearning. A woman doesn't miss what's fully predictable. She misses what challenges her, excites her, and feels just out of reach. The truth is, men who are respected and desired know how to balance attention with distance. They don't give silence as punishment, they give silence as presence. Let me explain. When you step back, it's not about ignoring her. It's about holding your ground, keeping your energy focused on your own life, your goals, your growth. This isn't about her being your only source of happiness. It's about you being so rooted in yourself that she feels the shift when you're not around. That's what triggers her longing. Not games, not manipulation, but the power of restraint. She'll sense that you are a man who doesn't need her validation every second. And that independence? That's magnetic. That's when she starts to miss you in a way she can't admit, even to herself. Here's a truth you were never supposed to know. A woman can only miss you when you leave behind an emotional fingerprint that lingers in her heart. Think about the times in your own life when you missed someone. It wasn't just their physical presence. It was how they made you feel, how they stood out from the rest, and how their energy couldn't be replaced. That's exactly how women experience missing a man. They don't miss the texts, they don't miss the routines, they miss the emotion you awakened inside them. And this is where most men fail without realizing. They try to force her to miss them by withholding attention, but if she never felt something powerful in your presence, your absence means nothing. The key is leaving her with a memory so sharp, so emotionally charged, that when you step back, she can't escape it. Maybe it was the way you looked at her, like she was the only woman in the room. Maybe it was the way you carried yourself with calm authority, never begging for approval. Or maybe it was the way you challenged her, made her laugh, and made her feel both safe and excited at the same time. That's the fingerprint she replays when you're gone. That's what makes her restless, scrolling through old messages, wondering when she'll hear from you again. Without that, she feels nothing. With it, she feels everything. And here's the irony. You don't have to do more, you have to do less. It's not about constantly proving yourself. It's about giving her moments that sink deep into her emotions and then stepping back, letting those moments breathe inside her mind. A man who understands this becomes unforgettable. He's not the one begging for her attention, he's the one she can't stop thinking about. Because missing isn't about you chasing, it's about her realizing that losing your presence feels heavier than she expected. And once she feels that, you don't have to force her to miss you. She already does, and it grows stronger with every hour of silence. Let me reveal something that flips the whole game. Women don't just miss your presence, they miss your absence when it has weight. That means the silence only works if you've built yourself into a man worth missing. Ask yourself right now, are you filling your life with purpose, or are you sitting by the phone waiting for her reply? Because here's the raw truth. A woman can sense the difference instantly. When a man is fully engaged in his own growth, when his life is rich with ambition, friendships, discipline, and passions, she feels it. Even in his silence, there's energy. She knows he's not vanishing to play games, he's living in motion, building himself into someone even harder to replace. And that presence, even in absence, makes her restless. She begins to imagine other people noticing you, respecting you, even desiring you. That's when her mind won't let her rest. But if you're sitting in the dark, scrolling through her photos, planning how to win her back with constant attention, you've already lost her. Because women don't miss desperation. They miss strength, they miss confidence, they miss the way a man made them feel elevated when he was around. Absence without substance is just emptiness. Absence with power creates longing. Here's where psychology cuts deep. Humans are wired to chase what feels scarce. If you make yourself too abundant, you become ordinary. But if you're rare, if your attention feels earned, if your presence isn't guaranteed, she values it more than anything. That scarcity flips her instincts. Instead of her thinking, I know he'll always be there, she starts to fear, what if he won't? That fear is the engine of missing. So stop trying to be everywhere. Stop trying to overwhelm her with presence. Build yourself so powerfully that your silence has gravity. When you finally return, even with a single text or glance, it feels like water to someone who's been thirsty for days. That's the art of making her miss you, not with empty games, but with the undeniable weight of who you've become. Now let's cut through the noise and get to the heart of why this works. Women don't consciously decide to miss you. It happens in their subconscious, and that's where your power lies. The subconscious mind thrives on patterns, associations, and emotional anchors. Every time you were calm under pressure, every time you walked away instead of begging, every time you chose your standards over her approval, you left an anchor. And when you're not there, her mind reactivates those anchors. That's when she feels the pull. But understand this, the opposite is also true. If your pattern is desperation, over-texting, constant validation seeking, then the anchor you leave behind is suffocation. And in your absence, she won't miss you. She'll feel relief. That's why self-control is everything. You're not just creating longing by stepping back, you're shaping the memory she replays in your absence. And memory is more powerful than presence. Here's where most men sabotage themselves. They break the silence too early. They get nervous, they assume she's forgetting them, they reach out just to check in. What they don't realize is that the silence was working in their favor until they ruined it. They collapse under the weight of their own impatience. But a man who masters patience, who understands timing, who knows that a woman needs the space to feel the full ache of missing. He becomes unforgettable. The truth is, missing you is not about distance alone. It's about discipline. It's about being the man who doesn't rush to fill the silence because he trusts what he left behind. That trust makes her question herself. Why hasn't he reached out? Does he not need me as much as I thought? Is he slipping out of my grasp? Those questions ignite her fear of loss, and that fear amplifies desire. You must remember, women respect men they can't fully control. If you're always available, she owns you. But when you hold back, when you give her the gift of absence while living with strength and purpose, she realizes she doesn't own you at all. And that realization makes her chase. That's the moment she begins to miss you so deeply it stings. So let's put all of this together. Making a woman miss you isn't about disappearing or trying to punish her with silence. It's about understanding the deep psychology of human desire. You create longing not by being needy or by flooding her with attention, but by balancing presence with absence, closeness with distance, availability with scarcity. A woman misses a man who carries himself with quiet strength, who leaves her with unforgettable emotional imprints, and who refuses to sacrifice his self-respect just to win temporary validation. Imagine the difference. One man texts her constantly, begging for her time, adjusting his entire life around her schedule. She doesn't miss him, she tolerates him. The other man gives her his presence with depth, makes her feel alive when he's around, and then steps back into his own world with calm certainty. That's the man she thinks about late at night. The man who occupies her mind when she's silent. The man who makes her friends wonder why she seems distracted. That's the man she misses. And here's the truth no one wants to tell you. The more you need her to miss you, the less she will. Missing is born from freedom, not desperation. If you are free, if you are fulfilled, if you are whole without her, then your absence has weight. But if you're empty without her, your absence is just emptiness, and emptiness never attracts. What women crave, what they can't ignore, is a man who chooses them without needing them. That balance is rare, and rarity always creates desire. So if you want any woman to miss you badly, stop obsessing over her attention and start building the kind of life, presence, and energy that speaks louder than any words. Give her the gift of contrast. Let her feel the weight of your absence after the fire of your presence. And when you return, you'll see it in her eyes. She's been waiting, longing, craving what only you bring. Now I'll leave you with a question. Have you ever noticed a woman missing you more when you pulled back rather than when you chased? Drop your answer in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who needs to hear this today.